I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors, and we've recently released a blog about CR System standing seam panels. They're up in Ontario, and they make 3 different standing seam panels. What we're focused on today is how do we protect workers that are on those roofs without damaging the roof systems for fall protection. We have 2 panels that are very similar. These are mechanically locked panels, the CRS25 and the CRS38. The 25, the only difference is the 25 is a 1-inch tall seam. The CRS38 is a 1.5-inch tall seam. We are compatible with seam-mounted equipment with these panels. And then their other 2 panels are the CRB box batten panel and the CRC batten strip panel. Seam-mounted equipment is not going to be compatible with these 2. So if you tighten the set screws on this, you're just going to crush that box batten. And on the CRC, you can attach seam-mounted equipment to it, but what would happen is in the event of a fall, you could shear the fasteners that lock that batten strip onto the seams, and those batten strips could just slide right down the seams along with your fall protection anchors. You'll see there's a quick reference chart. And down the column is the fall protection equipment that we're discussing. And then the different panels, once you've identified what panel you have, those are across the top. As you can see, the CRS series, the 1-inch and the 1.5 inch, these are definitely compatible. And we have alternative products for the batten strips, just not seam mounted. So starting with the SSRA1 Anchor, the standard anchor comes with cup tip set screws. It's intended for 22 gauge steel panels, and you're going to torque these to 90 inch-pounds. This is designed as a single worker tie off, and it has a removable D-ring, so we can add adapter plates to that, which we'll talk about in a minute. The other version of this is the SSRA1 nylon tip. The only difference is it has interchangeable set screws, and we use a set screw that has a nylon bushing in the end. So softer bite on the seam, but we use a little bit more torque. So instead of 90 inch-pounds that we use on the cup, we're going to go 180 to 200 inch-pounds on the nylon tip. And that's intended for 24 gauge steel. So if you have a 26 or 29 gauge, we need to look at alternative products, but this is designed for 22, 24 gauge steel. Now, if you have your anchors in place and you need to put 10 walkboards on the roof, you can mount 2 of the SSRA1s approximately 8 feet apart, remove the D-rings, and then you can drop the SSRA2 Roof Jack Adapters on top, lock them in place, and those are seam height adjustable as well as roof pitch adjustable. And that gives you a 10-foot walkboard with no penetrations to the roof. You need a temporary horizontal lifeline. You can mount 2 SSRA1s with an SSRA3 Anchor Plate across those, and that's going to adjust from 12 to 24 inch wide seams. It's very universal fit. And you would have one of those assemblies at each end of a 100-foot horizontal lifeline. So this is for temporary use. The kit that we sell has 4 anchors, 2 SSRA3 plates, and a 100-foot horizontal lifeline. And that has a line tensioner, so you need to shorten that down to a 57-foot run or whatever you need. You can just tighten that line down to whatever length you need, anything less than 100 linear feet. If you need a permanent lifeline, we also offer an industry-exclusive Super Anchor 120-foot permanent lifeline kit. This is designed specially for standing seams, has non-penetrating seam clamps, base plates, 5-inch riser posts, and 120 feet of galvanized steel cable. This is for permanent installations. If you're on a panel that is not compatible, as we talked about earlier, as long as that roof, it doesn't have to be steel. It can be aluminum, zinc, shingle, it can be a lot of different materials. You can use the Ridge Pro. So 612 to 1212, that is the roof pitch range you can use the Ridge Pro on. So worker would simply mount the Ridge Pro on the end of a 16-foot telescoping pole. You ascend the ladder, you use the pole to run it up the roof, flip it over the peak, and you've now locked a vertical lifeline over the peak of the roof with no fasteners. So once you step from the ladder to the roof, your harness is already tied off the whole time you're on the roof until you get safely back to the ladder. Very versatile product. It's a lot of different roof types, but just remember 612 to 1212 is the range of the roof pitches for the Ridge Pro. If you have any questions about any of these products, please give us a call. Phone number's up here. Email us at support@fallpd.com, and this little blue circle in the bottom right corner of the website, that's our live chat. Just let us know how we can help you.